Hello and welcome to today's webinar, How to Use Online Reviews to Increase Revenue. My name is Ted Gowdy and I'm the Director of Marketing for NKP Medical. We've been helping aesthetic practices get more patients through digital marketing for more than 15 years. And I just wanted to welcome you and say thanks for joining us today. We're going to try to get a lot in a short amount of time because we know that your time is valuable. So here's a quick agenda. I'm not going to read through it, but I do want to note that we'll have time for questions at the end. So like I said, we'll try to keep it to 15 to 20 minutes at most. The recording will be available. If you'd like it, you can go ahead and send me an email. You probably have my email from the sign up, or you can email Nick, whose address is on the screen. I want to point out that the results we show in here are real results from real clients. They're really seeing results from this. And go ahead and enter your questions as they come up into the Q&A part of the chat. We'll have time to answer them at the end, but you can go ahead and enter them anytime you have them. With that, I'm going to introduce Nick Mead, who's our VP of Sales and Marketing, and Nick can take it away.
Thank you very much, Ted. Hello, everybody. My name is Nick Mead. I'm the Vice President of Sales and Marketing for NKP. For those of you that are not familiar with us, Ted gave a little bit of background, but we've been doing digital marketing for aesthetic practices for over 15 years now, kind of a one-stop shop for everything digital marketing. And one of the things that we're really passionate about here is finding new and innovative ways to bring in new leads and to help our clients grow their practice. Which brings us to our topic today, which is online reputation and reputation management. We think that it's one of the most important things that our clients should be focused on, and we'll get into all the benefits why here in a second. So let's go ahead and start with what are online reviews. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here talking about this. I'm sure everybody on the webinar already knows what these are, but just to set some context, if somebody comes into your practice, they have an experience, they can then go online, they can write reviews about your practice. They could also give your practice a star rating. Typically this is done on a star scale 1 through 5. And they can then publish that on the internet for everyone to see, right? And these are places like Google, Real Self, Vitals, etc. This list that you're looking at here is actually a list of review sites that we think are the most valuable for our clients to have a lot of reviews on, a lot of positive reviews. It's where most people do their research, and so those are these places like Google, Real Self, Vitals, Facebook, WebMD, Yelp, and HealthGrades. So again, when we talk about online reviews, all we're talking about is that when somebody goes onto one of these review sites, they write a review, an experience that they might have had with their practice, they rate it, gets published online for the whole world to see. All right, so now that you know what they are, why should you care about these? Why should you care about these reviews? Well, online reviews are one of the most powerful influences on consumers today. So in fact, 92% of consumers make purchasing decisions based on online review recommendations. So the truth is that this is one of the first places that people go to do their research when looking into practices. They might go to your website, they might look at the services that you provide and offer and the way that you do them. They might go to your social media to look at some pictures, but most likely they're also going to be looking at the reviews that you have and the experiences that other people have had with you. So people are actually being influenced and basing their decisions on the experience that other people have had with you. Now, this is social proof. This is what it is. So the more positive reviews that you have, the more people that will be convinced to choose your practice over others and convert into patients for you, convert into business. So in that context, more reviews just means more customers. Now, the same way that good reviews will have a positive effect on your business, negative and also a lack of reviews will have the opposite effect, if that makes sense. So the example that I'll use here is that if I'm looking for a place near me to get Botox done, I might do some research and maybe I narrow down my search down to 2 practices that are by my house that I can get Botox done at. And one of the reviews, I look online, they've got over 100 reviews. There's so many people on there talking about the great experiences that they've had with that practice. And then I look at the other practice and they have maybe 10 or 15 reviews. It almost doesn't even matter if those reviews are good or bad. I'm probably already made up my mind. I'm probably going to go to the practice that has more reviews because it seems more credible and trustworthy to me. You know, if other people are having all these great experiences, my assumption is that I'm also going to have the experience that I'm looking for at that practice. So, you know, the more positive reviews that you have can really help you stand out among your competition. And the way I like to think of reviews, it's like a flywheel. It's this visual of a flywheel that's it's a cycle. And so the longer you focus on your reviews, the longer that you do this and the more that you get, the more powerful it becomes. And so it all starts with a new customer coming in your door. You know, new patient comes in, they have a procedure done, they have a great experience with you. They then go to one of those review sites that we mentioned. They publish something on the internet for the whole world to see. Then other people who are doing their research on what practice to go to are going to be influenced by those reviews. They're then going to be coming into your practice because they're convinced that because of all the good reviews, they're also going to have a good experience. They come in as a new customer, they get a procedure done, they write a review, it grows from there. And so you can see how the cycle just keeps going. And the longer you do this, the more focus that you put into acquiring more reviews, more positive reviews, the more powerful it becomes and the more revenue it's going to generate for you as a business. So let's talk about how this works. There's a lot of different platforms out there that do reputation management, and you know we see things a very specific way. So all of our clients are in the aesthetic space. They're plastic surgeons, dermatologists, med spas, things like that. And so one of the challenges that we see that a lot of our clients have is they just don't know how to get the reviews. You know, they may have been in business for years and only have 20 or 30 reviews because they just don't really know the right way to ask for a review from a patient. You know, obviously what they do, it makes it a little tricky. And so this may sound like a no-brainer, but the reality is you just have to ask. You have to ask for reviews, otherwise you're not going to get them. And in fact, from the research that we've done, the people that are most inclined to leave a review, and everyone on the webinar probably knows this or suspects this, the people that are most inclined to leave reviews are the people that maybe didn't have a great experience and aren't going to say anything positive about you on the internet. And so what that does is it's going to skew your rating scale online, and it's not going to give you as high of a reputation, as high of a score that you deserve. You know, and so there's really a science and a little bit of an art into the way that you ask for these reviews. Now, the way that we think the best way to do it is not somebody in your office, you know, asking people to do it. We think the best way to do it is to send your patient a text or an email, and that email is going to prompt them. It's going to ask them to leave a review for you. It's going to ask about their experience with you. And so by doing this, you're making it really, really simple for the patient to leave a review. Now, keep in mind, this is one of the most important parts of this is you have to make it really simple, really easy for people to leave reviews. If you just ask somebody in their office, then they have to figure out where they're going to leave the review. They have to think about what they're going to say. They're going to have to figure out what their login is, and they're probably not going to do it. So the way that we do it, so we send a link. And as you can see on the right hand of the screen here, we're going to ask about their experience. And you're going to see these green buttons and you're going to see red buttons. And we're going to choose where we want these people to leave reviews for us on. You know, so all they have to do is click on the little green button that says review us on RealSelf. They click on that, and within seconds, you've got yourself a new review. So it's that easy. Again, it kind of seems like a no-brainer, but you actually do have to ask for the review to make it happen. Now, another important part about asking, and a key to this for many practices, is the automation behind it. So we believe that the easiest way to do it is to get this synced up with another software that you might use. So when I say integration and sync, what I mean is if you have a scheduling platform or an EMR or CRM that you're using, what we'd like to do is connect to that. So then that way, based on a milestone, which could be whatever you want it to be, typically we'll do it based off of a procedure date, you know, maybe 1 or 2 days after somebody gets a procedure from you, we're going to send this text message and or an email to them asking them to leave a review. So that automation process just makes it extremely easy. And really all you have to do is sit back and just let the reviews come to you. What you're looking at here, this is data from one of our clients. This is a plastic surgery practice. And prior to using NKP's reputation management platform, they had 41 reviews. They've been in business for a very long time. And this is data based on the first 3 months of them using us. We were able to get them 76 additional reviews just in 3 months. So what we did is we integrated this into their CRM. So automatic texts and emails were getting sent out, prompting and asking people to leave them reviews. In 3 months, they saw an increase of 76 reviews, which has been a very positive impact for their practice because all those reviews are now influencing more people to come to their practice. Now, we've talked about the way that we think you should ask for the reviews and the way that we approach that. There's other parts to this. So once somebody leaves your review, you're going to get a notification saying, great news, you've got a new review. And what we do is we give you a backend portal that you can log into. It's just one credential, one login. And what we do is we aggregate all the reviews from all these different review sites for you. So there's actually thousands of review sites out there, but there's maybe only 10 to 15 really important ones for aesthetic practices that you want to make sure that you're on top of. So what we do is we aggregate all those review sites, whether it's RealSelf, Vitals, WebMD, Google, etc., and we put them in one very easy to use portal where you can then manage and even respond to all the reviews directly from one place. Now, one of the questions that I get asked all the time, almost every single call I'm on with somebody that's interested in learning more about reputation management, is how do I avoid negative reviews? How do I get somebody from not saying something bad about me on the internet? Now, the short answer to this is you can't. There's really nothing you can do to completely eliminate that from happening, which is unfortunate. You know, we just kind of live in a world where anybody can go online and say whatever they want. There's a lot of companies out there that'll say that what they can do is if somebody leaves you a bad review, they can filter that out and not have that be published on any of the review sites. That's called review gating. There's a lot of research that's been done into that. There's a lot of articles. It's actually a huge red flag. So if anybody ever tells you that what they can do is take down and filter out bad reviews, just run away from that because that can get you in a lot of trouble. Review sites have very strict policies around review gating because what their goal is to provide the most accurate reviews for businesses to their consumers. And so if you're just filtering out all the bad ones and only putting up the good ones, you get flagged. You're actually going to get punished from people like Google. And then, like I said, there's a lot of documentation that's out there on the internet. So if you are curious about how that affects your business, feel free to do some research on that. Having said that, though, we do have a process that is definitely going to encourage people not to leave bad reviews, which is really what we think the best way to do it. And Google agrees with us. And so what we do is when we send out that message saying, how is your experience? You're going to see green buttons. You're also going to see a red button. So if you have a great experience, we'd love to get a review. Please click on here to review us on RealSelf. That's how the positive ones come through. Now, if somebody doesn't have a good experience, it says, if your experience wasn't great, we want to make it right. Contact us directly. So what this does is it gives people a way to vent and to express whatever negative feelings they have, whatever their bad experience was. This message goes directly to you. It never gets published on Google or any of those review sites. This message will go straight to you, so then you can deal with that issue privately without everyone else knowing about it. Now, this doesn't block every single bad review from hitting the internet, but it's probably going to filter out about 90% of them. So most reviews and most people that would leave bad reviews, by being proactive and giving them the option to then give direct feedback as opposed to not reaching out and then they just end up leaving a bad review on Google or RealSelf, this is the best way to do it. Now, we've talked about the benefits on the consumer side because obviously the more reviews that you have, the more people are going to be influenced that your practice is the one to go to over some of the others. But there's other benefits too that not a lot of people realize. So one of the biggest benefits that is not so obvious is going to be the SEO benefit. And by SEO, I just mean that if I were to type in my computer, Botox near me, you want your practice to show up first, right? You want to be on that first page because you want to get the most traffic and the most views organically based on that search. Now, what Google does is that they have an algorithm that actually takes into consideration the amount of valid reviews that a business has on them. So if Google is looking at two sites and they see that one has hundreds of reviews and a lot of people are going there, a lot of people have had great experiences, they actually are going to prioritize that business over someone that doesn't have those reviews because they see them as more credible, more trustworthy. And so you're actually going to see a benefit from an organic SEO, and your practice is going to show up, on top of some others just by having a lot of reviews. So what you're looking at now, this is data from one of our clients. This is a dermatology practice. It's based out of Oregon. Really great case study because they've been around for a long time. And before working with us on reputation management, they had 23 reviews on Yelp. Not a lot. They were having a lot of trouble acquiring new reviews. They had 3.8 rating on Google. And so what this is the data from 5 months, the first 5 months of them using NKP's reputation management platform. We connected this to their CRM, so everything was automated, so they didn't have to do anything. And they got 173 new reviews in the first 5 months of using us. The more incredible thing, though, is that we actually took the rating because everyone that was leaving reviews was giving them 5 stars. So in just a couple months, we increased their rating from a 3.8 to a 4.9. And it's actually today at a 4.9, which is almost a perfect score on Google. They've got almost 200 reviews. This has been a huge impact on their business. They're converting more people because they have so many reviews. There's so much influence on people doing research into their practice. They've seen really, really great results with that. So a little bit more on why NKP and, how we approach things. So we've talked about the automated outreach. You have to ask for the reviews, otherwise you're not going to get them. We think that if we can, integrating into a CRM, EMR, scheduling platform is a good way to go. If you don't have those platforms or don't want the integration, that's completely fine. This actually works just as well without it. It's just a little bit, it's just one extra step. So just a little bit of manual work to either upload a spreadsheet or to choose who you want the reviews to go to. But, if you don't have the integration, don't want it, that's not a problem at all. We've also talked about our view on review gating and how we can encourage people to not leave negative reviews and publish those on the internet, but to have those directly come to you. Now, another important part of this is this product is extremely customizable. Every single practice is different. The review platforms, the review sites that are important to them might be different. So some people might think that Yelp is very important. Other people might want the reviews to be on Real Self because that's where most of their customers live. Others may want all the focus to go into Google. So we can actually choose where we're going to be pushing people to leave reviews for you. We can also customize the messaging. So the actual text message or the email that people get, we can customize that as well. And then we've talked about how it's going to aggregate all those different reviews on all the different sites, put it into one place that's really easy to use and manage, and you can respond to reviews directly from there. We're actually endorsed by Google. So our reputation management platform has been recognized as the best way to do this. We don't review gate. We do things in a really good way that review sites actually recognize. And the last thing is we think this is really important. I truly believe that, we do it for our business. We think that, every business should be doing it. Every single one of our clients that has worked with us on reputation management has seen extremely large benefit, on the revenue side, bringing in new patients, the influence that it has on new patients, and as well as the SEO benefits. So for anybody that wants to sign up with this, from now until the end of the year, we're offering 50% off the first month, just as kind of a thank you to try this out. So, we by design wanted to keep this pretty short, just talk a little bit about why we think online reputation is so important, the way that we view it and the way that we approach it. If anyone would like to go into a more in-depth conversation on specifically how to work for you or pricing or anything like that, please feel free to reach out to me directly at nick@nkpmedical.com. My email is on this slide right here. And then also, if anybody has any questions, Ted, if any questions have come through, we can go through some Q&A right now.
I've got a couple in just FYI to the attendees, if you want, there's still time to go ahead and enter them into the Q&A if you'd like. So first question, Nick, how many reviews can I expect to get per month?
That's a really good question. So it depends. And the variables on that, every single practice is different. We have some med spas that see 500, 600, 700 patients every single month. And so obviously the volume of patients that you have every single month is going to be a huge contributing factor to the amount of reviews that you can get. So if you're a practice that sees, some of our plastic surgery practices aren't really high volume. And so, there's going to be a pretty large range there. We see on average for example, dermatology and plastic surgery practices, between like 20 and 40 reviews a month is pretty common. On the med spa side, it's typically 2 to 3 times that. So I know it's not an exact answer to the question, but I hope that helps.
All right. As expected, there's a couple questions about negative and bad reviews. So let me read you a couple here. Can you take down bad reviews, and how do you deal with fake reviews, like from people who never even saw the practice or were never patients?
This is one of those things, I do hear this all the time. The unfortunate reality is that we live in a world where anybody could go on the internet and say whatever they want. And, we've been at the receiving end of that. Unfortunately, we've had fake reviews written about us, competitors even going on to review sites and leaving bad reviews. You can't entirely avoid it. There are steps and procedures that you can put in place to combat that a bit. As far as taking reviews down, we can't filter out. You're never going to be able to 100% make sure that nobody can put something bad about you up there. Having said that, pretty much every review site out there has policies around fake reviews. And so if you can essentially present a case to Google or to Yelp or wherever those fake reviews are, a lot of times they'll take them down. And we've seen a lot of success with that, where we can prove that it wasn't one of our customers. We have no documentation that this person ever came into our office, ever worked with us. Those typically do get taken down. We've seen a lot of success there. The other thing too is that having a good thought out response to a bad review, I think is a really good defense. So if you've got 150 reviews online, and you're going to have some bad ones in there, and that's not a bad thing. I don't think that bad reviews are necessarily going to hurt your practice, because if you have 150 reviews and you've got a really good offense, you're getting lots of reviews in every single month, 10's not going to hurt you. There's not going to be so many people out there that want to hurt you. And if you have thought out responses to that, the reality is if I'm a consumer and I see 10 bad reviews, but I see that the business owner or someone from the business, gave them really well thought out, good answers, we'd love to make things right, please contact us directly. That's not going to influence. I'm still going to think it's a great business. They have 140 positive reviews. Those 10 aren't really going to make me think that business is not worth going to.
Great. Couple more here. What EMRs does this work with?
Well, there's thousands of EMRs out there. There's no shortage of those. So we work with most modern type EMRs, where today in 2020, most EMRs are designed to work and have APIs that will work well with other vendors. That's kind of the modern design and where most EMRs are heading. Some clients have very, very outdated EMRs that are more static and don't really have the ability to connect to. So I guess to answer that question, we work with most of them. We work with most CRMs as well. And we even have an option to where if there is no integration available because the EMR is outdated or they don't play nice with others, we do have an option where essentially you make NKP a user within that EMR, but then you lock everything down. So there's permission settings where we only have access to patient groups that are getting the text. And then that way we can do it. It's not manual, but it is, I guess, kind of a manual integration that is a workaround that we can do as well.
Great. All right. I've got time for one more. Many of our patients don't have a Google account and may not be very internet savvy. So when they get to the screen and are asked to sign in they don't know what to do? Is there a way to combat that?
I'm assuming this is referring to when a patient is trying to leave a review.
Yeah, probably on Google.
So the way that modern cell phones work today is they're fully integrated. So if anybody has any Google products on their phone, they're already going to be logged into their account. They typically don't have to know what their credentials are to be able to leave a review because Google is a fully integrated platform. So if they have Gmail, for example, typically it's just going to open up the review site and they can leave a review. If that's not the case, then typically, it's just a matter of, I guess there's no real good way if somebody has no way to log into their account. That can pose as a challenge. But to be honest, in the tens of thousands of reviews that we've gotten just in the last 6 months, I've never once even heard of that as a problem. But it'd definitely be something that, if somebody wants to talk more specifically about it, I'd love to have a longer in-depth chat about what we can do to, make it easier for people to leave reviews if they don't know what their credentials are.
Okay, great. Thank you for the questions. I've got a couple more that we're not going to have time to get to at the moment, but we will follow up. I'll send you an email later on today with details. So just wanted to wrap up, say thanks again for joining us today and appreciate the questions. And if you do have additional questions, you can email Nick or myself, or if you want to take advantage of our special offer. Thanks and have a great day.